Okay, so what if I told you that the world map you've been looking at your entire life is, well, it's basically a lie. And I'm not talking about a tiny little fib. I mean a massive distortion of reality that has completely shaped how you and pretty much all of us see the planet.
Let's just dive right in with a quick test. Take a look at these two. Just go with your gut instinct. Which one do you think is bigger?
Now, if you're picturing that classic map from your school classroom, you'd probably say, they look pretty close, right? On paper, they seem totally comparable in size.
But here's the bombshell. Africa is actually 14 times larger than Greenland. No, that's not a typo. Not a little bigger, 14 times bigger. The map most of us grew up with is just catastrophically wrong about this.
To really wrap your head around that number, think about this. You could take the entire United States, all of China, all of India, and most of Europe and fit them all inside the continent of Africa, and you'd still have some room left over. The scale is just mind-boggling compared to the maps we're used to.
And it's not just a Greenland problem. Take Alaska. On that same familiar map, it looks like this enormous frozen giant. But in reality, it's smaller than the country of Libya. This map has literally warped our mental image of the world.
So, this begs the question, right? If this map is so wildly off when it comes to the size of things, why is it everywhere? Why did we all have one pinned to our walls?
Well, to answer that, we have to go way back. Our story starts in the year 1569 with a Flemish mapmaker, a cartographer named Gerardus Mercator. He created this new kind of map, what we call a projection, but he wasn't making it for schools.
See, he designed his map for one very specific job, navigating the oceans. And for that particular purpose, it was an absolute work of genius. Still is.
So here's the brilliant trade-off he made. On his map, any straight line you draw is what's called a line of constant compass bearing. That meant a sailor could just draw a straight line from, say, Portugal to the Caribbean, set their compass to that one direction, and get there. Super simple. But there was a cost. To make those lines work, the land masses had to be stretched out, and the further away you get from the equator, the more stretched they become.
So how on earth did a specialized tool for sailors become the default picture of our world? Well, it really comes down to a few key things.
First off, it came out right during the Age of Exploration. And on this particular map, the European colonial powers up in the northern hemisphere looked really big and dominant. Meanwhile, continents near the equator, like Africa and South America, looked a lot smaller in comparison. It was a picture of the world that, let's say, conveniently matched the politics of the time.
But here's the real kicker. We don't sail around with paper charts and compasses anymore, do we? We've got GPS, we've got satellites, yet this 450-year-old tool for sailors is still the main mental image most of us have for the entire planet. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
Now, to be fair to Mercator, every single mapmaker faces the same basic problem. You just can't represent a round sphere on a flat surface without some kind of distortion. It's impossible. Think about peeling an orange and trying to lay that peel perfectly flat. You can't do it without tearing or stretching it, right? Same idea. Something always has to give.
So what are the other options? Well, this table shows you how every map is really just a different set of compromises. The Mercator, as we've said, is awesome for navigation, but it absolutely destroys area. Then you've got the Gal-Peters projection. It shows the true size of countries, so Africa finally looks huge because it is, but it really stretches and distorts their shapes. And then there are maps like the Robinson, which is a popular attempt at a compromise, that kind of distorts a little bit of everything just to get a general good look. Today, a lot of organizations, like National Geographic, have officially moved on. They now use something called the Winkle Triple Projection. It's yet another compromise map that tries its best to minimize all the different kinds of distortion, area, direction, distance, all at the same time. Okay, so why does any of this actually matter? Because maps aren't just pretty decorations for a wall. They actively shape our worldview, a lot of times in ways we don't even notice.
I mean, think about it. When you spend your entire life looking at a map where Europe is front and center and looks just as large as South America, it subtly changes how you see the world. It messes with your sense of scale, your understanding of global events, even your idea of what parts of the world are important.
So the real takeaway here is this. The next time you look at a world map, just ask yourself what it's choosing to show you accurately and, more importantly, what it's choosing to distort. It's definitely worth looking for a view of the world that cares more about accuracy than sticking with a 450-year-old habit.
Which, of course, leaves us with one last question for you to think about.
Go take another look at that map on your wall or on your phone or your computer screen. Now that you know about all these trade-offs, what version of the world is it really showing you? And what might you be missing?